Page 73 in grammar is where we're at. 73. So we're talking about conjunctions today. And a conjunction connects words, phrases, and clauses together. And one type of conjunction is called a coordinating conjunction. Everything okay in there? Okay. Heard a crash, boom, bang. I had to find out what was wrong. He dropped a piece of firewood. It wasn't on fire though, so we're good. Anyway, coordinating conjunction connects the same type of words, phrases, or clauses. So that would be like 2 or 3 nouns, 2 or 3 verbs, 2 or 3 adjectives. So they have to be the same type of word that they connect. But look at this example right here. It says, he ran to the window and opened it. So the coordinating conjunction is and it is connecting 2 verbs. You see the word ran and opened. That's what he did. He did 2 things. He ran and opened. It's not connecting window and opened because window is a noun. Opened is a verb. Those are not the same type of words. So that's something you guys need to know is coordinating conjunctions connect the same type of words. They may not be right next to each other, maybe further back in the sentence like this one. Ran and open. Those are 2 things that he did. All right. This just explains what I just said. So I'm going to come down here. Do you see the word fanboys? And here it is in dark letters, fanboys. It's a fun word for you to remember to help you remember what those coordinating conjunction words are. Because look at F. F underneath F says for. That's because the F is going to represent for. And then A and N nor B but O or Y yet S so. So in that word fanboys, each one of those letters stands for a word. And if you can remember fanboys, that will help you remember all the words that are coordinating conjunctions. So let's read this list of words right here across. You can stay muted because it kind of echoes if you unmute. So just stay muted and read it out loud at your house with me, starting right here. Ready, read. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Good. I saw your mouths moving, so I know you were saying it. Let's do it one more time. Ready, read. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. All right. To mark it in this book, in your grammar book, you're going to put CC. That stands for coordinating conjunction, okay, on top of those words. So look at this example here. The guards looked around the room but saw nothing unusual. They put CC on top of but because that is the B right here in fanboys stands for but. So that is, by the way, it only has 1 T. With 2 T's, it's a different word, right? This one just has 1 T. So this is used to connect words, and it's going to connect the word saw, which is an action, and looked. He did 2 things. He looked, but saw nothing around and nothing unusual, even though saw is a banned word in our writing. It's not banned in the grammar book, so it's okay that it's here. But that's what too it's connecting. Look at the next example. The princess wanted the cloak, bag, and horn. So the A in fanboys stands for and is a coordinating conjunction. So they put a CC on top of it because it is a coordinating conjunction, and it's connecting 3 things. And they're all nouns right here. Cloak, bag, horn. Those 3 nouns are connected with the word and. Okay, and there are a couple of comma rules here. If it's just 2 verbs or 2 nouns or 2 adjectives, you don't need a comma. The pattern is A and B. That's what it's showing us here, no comma. But then this pattern, if you have three, like A, B, and C, you've got three things, like three verbs, three adjectives, three nouns, something like that, like this one, cloak, bag, horn. There's three. You do need commas between those. Cloak, comma, bag, comma, and horn. So those are the comma rules for those. If it's two, you don't need a comma. If it's three or more, you do need commas. And then the last thing we're talking about is strong verb. And we talked about it a little bit with Sawyer when he was talking about it before we started. Strong verbs, they dress up writing. And you're using this now in your writing for why opossum has a bare tail. So it dresses up writing because it creates a strong image or feeling. A strong verb is an action verb, never a linking or helping verb. Look for strong verbs in this book and write them on the strong verb collection page on Appendix 2. That's at the back of the book. There she is. Hi, Ashlyn. You were having trouble logging in, I could tell. I'm glad you're here. We're on page 73, okay? In grammar. There's a page in the back of the book. I'll show it to you. It's going to be page, hold on, let me find it. Very, very back. It is page 191. 191, very back. See how it's this blank page here? And at the top it says strong verb. If you're ever reading a book or a story, or even in this book, this grammar book, or wherever you're reading something and you see a strong word in a strong verb, and you like it, you want to remember that, you can make your list back here. Okay, they have to be action words only. That's where you can put them back here if you want. It's optional, okay? All right, go back to this. We're going to go to the practice page next. So go ahead and go to page 75. This is our practice page. Does anybody feel like reading it today? I know Sawyer does. You usually do the reading. Let's see. Is there anybody else that wants to read it? Yeah. Maybe can we let Liz do it this time, Sawyer, since you usually read it? Okay, Liz, go for it.
The soldier knew that he needed to escape, but he forgot that he was wearing a magic cloak.
Good. Okay, the vocabulary word is escape, and that just means to get away from danger, to leave, to leave somewhere, basically. So let's put a check by that. And then it says there's two articles, so go ahead and find those two articles by yourself. Mark those. Okay. Ashlyn, I'm recording this in case your internet goes weird again, so you can watch it later if you need to. There are the articles. How about the nouns, Sawyer? Where are the nouns at?
Cloak and soldier.
Good. Cloak and soldier. Very good. Three pronouns. London, where are the pronouns?
He,
Yes.
he, and he.
He, and he. They're all he's. That makes it easy. Adjective, Julio. Can you see the adjective? Remember what those are?
Like describing something?
Yes, good. It's describing one of the nouns. So
Magic.
yeah, there you go. So the best way to find the adjectives, in case you get stuck on this sometimes, anybody, look at the nouns and the look before it and see if there's a word that describes it. Obviously, the noun soldier, it has that's not an adjective. And if I look at cloak right before that, magic, yeah, that tells what kind of cloak it is. So that's the adjective. It describes the noun. Very good. And now we have coordinating conjunction on our list. I want you to, right next to that, I want you to just spell out fanboys in all caps, like that. Just as a little note to remind you, oh yeah, these coordinating conjunctions, fanboys, remember it's for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Ashlyn, do you see one of those words in the sentence?
What were the words again?
So it's for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. If you need to look back on the page before, you can to see those words.
But.
Yes, there it is. CC. We're going to put CC on top of that one. When we're done with this page, I'm going to have you put a Post-it note on that fanboys page, just so you can look back on it when you're working on homework this week. All right, check by that. There's two that clauses. Liz, where are the that clauses? See them? There's two of them in there.
One close to mu.
Starts with that. Where does that? Can you read the whole clause?
That he needed to escape.
Yes, good. It stops right there. Where's the other one?
That he was wearing a magic cloak.
Yes, very good. We're going to put that. Just go ahead and write that on top of that because we can label it. Okay. And then subject verb pairs. So let's do verbs. London, where are the verbs?
Escape.
Okay, so let's look at that for a second. You're right, although I'm not going to put a V on it because it has the word to. It changes it. By the way, that word to is wrong. Did you notice that, London?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fix it. That's bugging me. So how should we spell to?
T-O.
Just T-O. So now that it says to escape, that's called an infinitive. So we're not going to mark that as a verb. So we're going to leave escape alone. Just leave that there. What else? What other verbs do you see?
Wearing.
Yes, that's one. Good.
And forgot.
Yes, good. Three more actually.
New.
Good. I saw your hand, Liz. Let's see if she can find them all first, okay?
Okay.
There's an ED word. That's going to be a verb.
Needed.
Yes, needed. And then one more that's actually a helping verb. It's next to wearing.
Was.
Yes, that is a helping verb. So it's was wearing. They go together. Very good. You got it. And then the subjects, Julio, what are the subjects? So look at each verb like this one, knew, and then look before it. Who knew?
Soldier.
Good. That's one subject. What else?
That he.
He, in here, he needed. What else? Right here.
He also.
He again. And then the last one?
He.
He again. All the he's are subjects. Good. Capital, we already know that. First word. End mark, we already know that. That's a period. And then we already fixed the homophone because we fixed to. That was the homophone. Okay, before you put this away though, get out a Post-it note if you have your little Post-it notes with your stuff. One of these. So just take off one. It can be a big one, or if you have a little one, that's fine too. And then just stick it on your page for a minute because stick it so that the sticky part is down and this is loose up here, okay? So put it upside down basically. And then at the top edge, I'm going to have you put, so it's sticky at the bottom and this part's loose on top. So the top edge here, I want you to put coordinating conjunction. You're going to have to write kind of small. Coordinating. And if you have to write it on two parts, two lines, that's okay too. Conjunctions. And then underneath that, we'll put fanboys in big letters like that, okay? You're writing it kind of upside down on the Post-it, so the sticky part's down. Because what we're going to do, like you did before, you're going to stick it at the top of your page so it's sticking up, and then you can find that page later. Give me a thumbs up when you have that written down. Okay. Coordinating conjunctions. Good, I see that. Let me zoom in. I know it's kind of small. Does that help? Okay. It's a big word, big words. The fanboys, this is the one where each letter stands for a word. And once you get done writing that, you're going to stick it on page 73 because that's where the words are. That can help you when you're doing your homework this week and you get to that part where it says coordinating conjunctions and go, oh yeah, I put a Post-it in there. Go back to that page and you can see those words. All right, so you're going to stick it. Let me zoom out here a little bit so you can see the whole page. Go back to 73, this page, and you're going to stick it right here at the top so it's sticking up. See how it's past the page there. And then this is the page you can come back to. Oh yeah, here they are, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So this will help you find this page fast. Once you do that, you can put away your grammar book for today. All right. Go ahead and get out your binders now. In your front pocket, you should have everything you need for Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail. So go ahead and get all that out. I do want to talk to you for a minute about King Midas. And I actually printed out the keyword or the story sequence chart. I got yours here, Ashlyn. Are you okay if I share yours? Oh, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
I didn't have time to turn in my homework today.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. But I have this. Are you okay if I share this with everybody? It's yours. Okay, cool. Thank you. And I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see that this is basically, you don't have this in front of you right now. So just watch my screen. Okay. We're going to talk about why opossum has a bare tail. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you something here. You did a great job, by the way, Ashlyn. But notice how each one of these has its own box. Like here's all of Roman numeral 1. And then we have here all of Roman numeral 2. And then here is all of Roman numeral 3. That means each Roman numeral is a separate paragraph. Almost all of you wrote all this together in one giant paragraph. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, what I want you to do is write separate paragraphs for each one of these. So like this right here is one paragraph. Then you go down and start on a new line, and this is going to be your second paragraph. And then you go down and start a new line, and this is going to be your third paragraph, actually including that too. So I want you to see how each box is a paragraph. And then I started writing it out. Okay, so here's my example. I used just Roman numeral 1 right here with King Midas greedy, palace luxury gold, not happy, wanted more, stranger, visitor, one wish. I used each one of those in a sentence and I made my first paragraph. You see that? So here it says, there once was a king named King Midas who was very greedy. I used a who clause, so I'm going to underline who. He lived in a luxurious castle with gold. King Midas was unhappy because he wanted more gold. Then a strange visitor granted him one wish. And I forgot an ly adverb, so I'm going to put magically right here. I'm just going to add it in. Notice I can use that line above, magically. And now I'm going to underline it. So my dress ups have to be underlined. I have magically, I have who, and now I need a strong verb. And I see a couple of them in here, actually. I see wanted and I see granted. I think I'm going to pick granted. So you're going to notice in yours, you'll have more than one strong verb. That's okay. Just pick one to underline for your dress up word. But here's what I also want to show you. Now I'm ready for my second paragraph. It starts with gold, touch, and she has happen here. So I'm going to talk about how he wanted the golden touch, everything he touched to turn to gold. So since it's the second paragraph, I got to go down. I'm not going to keep going on this line. This is what I want you guys to see. Don't keep going after wish. You're going to skip a line and indent. You see this little space right here? I left a space on my first paragraph. That's indenting. So I'm going to do it again here. And I'm going to start with saying King Midas wished that everything he touched turn to gold. That's what I wanted you to see. It's a separate paragraph. It's completely separate. I start over by indenting here, and then I start Roman numeral 2, which is the second paragraph, under the first paragraph. A lot of you, almost everybody, just kept going without indenting or anything. So it's really, really important. I put a note on your Google Doc to make sure you know how to start a new paragraph. So each Roman numeral is going to be a new one. Sawyer, did you have a question?
Yes. If I skip one space, I'll end up on the X's.
Okay, so
Do I skip two?
no,
Oh,
no, you can just skip the X. You know what I mean? If you have an X right here, you're just going to go to the one that doesn't have an X. That's a good question, though.
But, oh,
That makes sense. So just skip the one that has the X and then go to the next blank
okay.
one. Yeah. I see yours, Liz. Yeah. So you did a great job writing it and you did a great job with your double space, but you forgot to do different paragraphs. Does that make sense? So really, after the strange visitor came, it should be a new paragraph right there. King Midas wished, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
If I skip one, like a DX, it will look like they're together.
Well, I'm not sure what you're looking at, but maybe you do need to skip 2 then, if that makes sense.
Because
Let me see what you're looking at.
so the X right here,
Yes, I
skip
see
one
that.
down, it looks like they're together.
No, I think if you skip, it'll work. It'll work, actually. Don't write on the X line. Go down, but then do a 2-finger space and start indent and start your paragraph after that. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you can do it. Just skip that one X. It'll work. It'll work. It will. I can tell. All right. Now let's look at why opossum has a bare tail. Let's get that one out. And we were working on that last week. We got Roman numeral 1 done. And now we got to work on Roman numeral 2 and 3 so we can finish up the story. And you're going to do the same thing like I just showed you. So you guys all wrote one paragraph. So when you do your homework this week, you're going to move down, skip a line, and start on a new line with indenting, a 2-finger space at the beginning. So we'll start a new paragraph. So this is where we left off. This box is all about the characters and setting. We introduced Opossum and Raccoon. Those are the two characters in this story. And we talked about how he was in the tree. So we know that's part of talking about the setting because he was outside in a forest. And now we're going to move into the conflict and the problem. So here's where we left off. Opossum looked up in the tree and said and asked, "How did you get that beautiful tail?" By the way, Sawyer, I think you're missing that sentence in your first paragraph.
Really?
I don't remember you reading it earlier. I think you got to add in there that he asked Raccoon, "How did you get that beautiful tail?"
I put beautiful rings.
Yeah, see that. Oh, instead of pretty rings. Wait, read your last sentence of your paragraph.
Opossum spotted Raccoon in a tree who had his beautiful rings.
Okay, good. See how? Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that'll work. But I think you do need to put in there. Do you have this part on your story sequence part or story sequence chart where it says how beautiful ring or how beautiful tail? Do you have that on your story sequence?
No, I couldn't put it in. It's too much space.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's keep going. We'll work it out later. So we're going to move into the problem now. And after Opossum asks Raccoon about his tail, let's look at the story. We're going to look at the second paragraph where it starts with "Now Raccoon." What was Raccoon? Yeah, Sawyer, I'll have you answer this one. What was Raccoon planning at that point? So we just left off with, how did you get those pretty rings on your tail? What do we know about Raccoon? What's planning?
I don't know where that is.
I'm on page 55. Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
He was planning a trick on on Opossum.
He was planning a trick. Was it a nice trick? What kind of a trick?
It was haughty and cruel.
And cruel. You were trying to say mischievous, but cruel is a good one too. I like that actually. So we could put here R for raccoon. So on number 2, Roman numeral 2, we'll put R to represent raccoon. And he was planning cruel trick. R planning cruel trick. Now, if you guys have a different way you want to say that, I'm okay if you do it different. If you want to use that word mischievous, you like that one, instead of cruel or mean, you can put mean trick, whatever word you want to use. It doesn't have to be exactly like the one I'm writing down here. And then Liz, what does he tell Opossum to do? What was that trick? He tells him to do something.
He tells him. Wait, let me get my paragraph. I don't have it right now.
Okay. Oh, this one?
Oh.
I'll put
It says, he said, well, I wrapped cedar bark around my tail here and here and here and here.
Yes. So how can we put that in 3 words on our keyword outline here?
We can put cedar and then draw a bark.
Maybe. Let's talk about it for a minute. Cedar, draw bark, and then what?
And we can put a number on how we can put a number how many times he said here.
Yeah. But he's saying to wrap around the tail, right?
Mhm.
Maybe we don't need the word cedar. Maybe we just need bark.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we put wrapped bark and then tail? If you have it, if you want to put it different though, Liz, you can, but that makes kind of sense to me. And I'm going to put quotation marks around it because that's what he's saying. I
Mhm.
wrapped bark around my tail, and then you'll probably remember how he says here and here and here and here. But if you need to look back on the story when you go to write your paragraph, you can. You can go back and check it. After that, London, what does he say to do what that he does next to make those rings? What did he say? Yeah, Liz is worried. What did he say next? I'm looking right here, London. See where it talks about wrapping the bark here and here and here. This part where it says, then what did he say next to do next? Go ahead and unmute and tell me what he said to do.
He placed his tail in the coals of fire.
Yes, you're right. So how can we put that in 3 words?
Wait.
Oh, did you need to look at it longer, Sawyer? Okay. How can we put it here, London, in 3 words or abbreviate or symbol?
Maybe like we could do like a tail, and
Okay.
then like coals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we just said tail right here, so I kind of think we'll know it's his tail, but maybe that word placed and maybe coals and fire. Yeah, you guys like
Yeah.
that? We could do that. We know we're talking about the tail, so I don't think we need to mention that here. So what if we did placed coals fire? And I'm still using quotation marks because he's still talking. This is what he's saying. And we're in the box that talks about the problem. And this is for sure his problem. Well, it's actually going to be Opossum's problem. We know that. But the problem also is that Raccoon is playing a trick on him, a really mean one, cruel trick. Yeah. Okay. And then number 3, I'm going to have Julio when you're done writing that. What did Raccoon say will happen when he puts his tail in the fire? What did he say that happened to his tail?
That that he got the rings, the I guess pretty rings around his tail after,
Yeah. So, oh, go ahead.
and put his tail on the fire.
Yeah. He said right here, the fur between the bark turned black, but the rest remained white. So how can we put that in keywords right here for number 3?
I don't actually know.
That's a hard one, huh?
I know.
Because it's talking about how the fur between the bark turned black, but the rest remained white. So we could say fur, maybe start with that, between black. Because what happens is he's saying it's just going to be the bark that burns and it'll make that hair black, but the other parts that don't have bark on it will stay white. That's what he's trying to say. Does anybody have any other ideas on how to put that in the outline? So we could say fur, between, and black. All right, let's do that. Fur, between, and black. Oh, between the bark. Yeah, he's saying that the bark will not burn. That's what he's trying to say, is the bark won't burn and it'll turn the hair black between it. I'm still going to put quotes around it because he's still talking here. He's still explaining. He's explaining all this stuff about how he got his rings on his tail. Fur, between, black. All right, this is when we start moving into the climax of the story. Remember, the climax is where we don't know what's going to happen. Well, we know because we already read this story, but the first time we read it, we got to this point and we're thinking, uh-oh, that's not a good idea. I hope that opossum doesn't do that because that's not going to work, right? We're thinking that. But that's that part of the story where you're not sure is going to happen. Remember how last time, and I want you to draw this in, we drew a pointy mountain and a little guy at the top of the mountain here. Remember we talked about that guy? What was on, raise your hand if you remember what was on one side of the mountain and what was on the other side of the mountain. Liz, what was it?
And this side it was spikes, and the other side
Spiky
was a fluffy cloud.
and a fluffy cloud. Good. Is that what you guys were going to say too? Ashlyn and Julio? Okay. And London. Everybody remembered. Good. And then I think we drew some arrows like, we don't know which way. Which way is he going to go? So we don't know if he's going to die or if he's going to be okay. We don't know if, opossum's going to completely burn up or if he's going to say no to raccoon. I mean, he could have been smart and said, you're playing a trick on me. I know that. I'm not going to do that. And then he would be okay. But this story doesn't have a very happy ending, honestly. At least Opossum didn't die, but sad about his tail, right? So this is what we're going to talk about next in this box right here. So let me ask, I think it is Ashlyn's turn. What did Opossum do after Raccoon explained all that? What did Opossum do, Ashlyn?
The opossum like thanked the raccoon and ran off to do it.
He ran off to do it. Exactly. He actually did it. He went and found some bark and he did exactly like the raccoon said. So how can we put that here? Do you have any ideas on how can we put it in 3 words or symbols? Sawyer has an idea, but let's see if Ashlyn can come up with something first.
Like put like the circle idea for a possum and like maybe like you like make a little mark like so it'll like clouds to like that he rushed away
Okay. Oh, okay.
and to gather the bark and then gather and then gathered cedar bark.
Gathered cedar bark. Okay, what's your idea, Sawyer?
My idea was he was rushed cedar and baking.
Wait, rushed cedar and what?
I'm just gonna do it in order. Thanking
Oh, okay.
and cedar. Because we don't know it's cedar bark. We just said bark.
Okay. I don't know if that's important to know, but you can put that in there if you feel like you want to. So you guys are saying rushed. I think Ashlyn said this too. Oh, we should put O for opossum. Sorry, that's an O. Rushed. And then he gathers the bark, but he also puts it on his tail. So maybe we should say that he put the bark on his tail. Maybe bark and tail, because he does exactly what raccoon tells him to do. He does it. So I'm going to choose this, but you guys can, like I said, make it how it makes sense to you. Yours might be a little different than mine. So, okay, so he fixes up his tail just like that, just like Raccoon says. And then Sawyer, what does he do after that? He's got his tail ready. He's got the bark on the tail now.
He wraps strips around his tail just like our raccoon instructed.
Okay.
I think we should put strips, instructed, and wrapped.
Strips, instructed, and wrapped. Okay. Let's see. Do we have enough space for this? Let's put it, if you guys like that. Strips. And then what was the next word?
Wrapped.
Okay. And instructed? Was that your last
Yeah.
word? Instructed. Okay. I like it. Good. And then Liz, the bad part happens next. What does he do? What does he do with his tail next?
He goes to a place, a bonfire, where
Yes.
other animals are doing some they're using the bonfire,
Yeah.
and then when the fire dies, he puts his tail in the
Yeah.
fire.
And then what happens to his tail?
It burns.
It burned. And do you remember what it said on the back here? It burned like a what? Right here. His tail was burning like
Torch.
a torch. You guys know what a torch is?
Yes.
Like
It's
Go
a
ahead.
stick on a fire. It's a fire on a stick.
Yes, at the end of it's like a big fire, right? More than a match. It's like a big fire. Okay, so poor guy, poor opossum. So
Poor
what do we
opossum.
do? How can we put all that into 3 words, Liz? Do you have any ideas?
We can put bonfire
I like that. Start with bonfire. Okay.
and we can put he put, and then we could draw a tail.
Yeah, I don't know if we could draw a tail though. Next. Bonfire,
And
maybe. Okay, here's my tail. Does it
and then we can put a hit it got on fire.
or burning,
It burned. Yeah.
burning. And then
And
what could we put for the last word?
torch.
That's what I'm thinking. Torch, yes. Bonfire, and that's a tail, in case you wondered. Your tail's probably cuter than mine. Bonfire, tail, burning, torch.
Mine looks like a finger.
So does mine, kind of.
No, but I actually put like those marks on your fingers.
Oh, that's funny.
I tried it like a possum tail because they have these lines that go through
Oh,
at the
yeah.
hair.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I tried to do that, but there's not a lot of ink in this, so it made it look like a finger.
That's funny. And then London, let's see. So it's on fire now. What does he do? It's totally on fire. Like this poor guy is on fire. What did he do to get out the fire? It's on the back.
Um, he panicked and
Yes.
jumped into pond.
Yes. Yes. So how can we put that in 3 words?
Maybe panicked.
I like it.
Um, jumped.
I like that too. Good.
And then we could do like we could draw like a pond,
Okay.
and then we could do flames.
How could we show that the flames went out?
Like, we could draw a tail that has like steam coming from it.
Oh yeah. That's a good idea. I think Sawyer has an idea. Anybody else? I'll listen to
You could
Sawyer.
it like drips on the fire tail,
Okay.
coming off the fire tail to make sure it looks like he's coming out of the pond.
Anybody else have any ideas? No? I might just do cross out the word fire. We could draw some water for like, here's my pond. I'm gonna go like this and draw some water in there. And then maybe put fire and then an X through it to put out the fire. That's an idea. But however you guys want to put it what makes sense to you, okay? Doesn't have to be exactly like mine. But we need to kind of wrap up this paragraph because we can't just leave everybody hanging like, okay, well, he jumped in the water and the fire is out. But the point of the story was that he doesn't have any more hair, and neither does his children or his children's children or his children's children's children. Remember that part? So I'm going to add a number 4. If you don't have any space, it's okay to go under your line here, but let's put on a number 4 and then write that word hair. And then I'm going to circle hair and draw a line through hair. It means no more hair. No hair. Hair's gone. That's why he has a bare tail. And it says that it was too badly burnt. He waited for years for his lovely hair to grow back, but it never did. It was too badly burnt. And it remained bare for the rest of his life and his children's children, la, 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 la. Okay, so let's put bare. No hair, bare, and then children's. And then, oops, whoa, apostrophe S, forget that one. Children's, and then I'm going to put dot, 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 meaning his children's children and his children's children's children. It's basically forever and ever. The opossum now has a bare tail. Now we can kind of wrap it up like that. That's good. Okay. Now you are all set to write paragraphs 2 and 3. Remember, when you're writing these, you're going to use a new line for each one of these boxes. These are paragraphs here, okay? So make sure that you move down on your paper and indent with your 2 fingers to start a new paragraph. Do you guys have any questions about, okay, go ahead, Liz. What's your question?
When you told us to do an indent on the second paragraph,
Yeah.
I put this little line, so then
Oh,
when I
yeah.
put raccoon, I can
Perfect.
just erase it.
That's perfect. That's a good plan to remind yourself. You can do that. Ashlyn?
How do I do? Because my paragraph's at like the end.
Okay, so that works out okay. I would just turn it over and start on the back of your
Okay.
page and start with an indent. So
Okay.
yeah, just leave that front page like it is and then turn it over and then you'd start with 2 finger space and then you'll start with the word raccoon. Anybody else have a question? Okay, let's look at your checklist really quick too, so we can remember. There's lots of stuff you got to remember to put in your paragraphs. Right, go look at the dress ups here. You've got 3 now. The ly adverb, you guys are pretty good at those now. It needs to go in paragraph 2 and in paragraph 3. So both paragraphs, you're going to have to think of a place to put a ly adverb. The best way to do that is to look for a verb, like the verb wrapped. We have that one right here. That's a good verb. That could be your strong verb, actually. But what is ly word? Hold on. What is an ly word you could use to describe how he wrapped his tail? He somethingly wrapped his tail with bark. Sawyer?
Fastly?
Maybe quickly, maybe. Quickly. What do you think, Julio?
Maybe happily because he was happy that he was getting the rings.
Well, this was Raccoon here talking in the second paragraph.
Oh,
He was the one being tricky. But keep thinking. Let me hear London's idea. Something
trickily.
Like hurriedly.
hurriedly wrapped. Yeah, that would work. Did you think of something else, Julio?
Sneakily?
Oh
No.
yeah, well maybe because he is trying to be kind of tricky. Ashlyn has an idea.
Strongly.
Strongly. Okay, that would work. Another one I thought of was carefully. Right? Carefully. Maybe he carefully wrapped the bark around because he didn't want the bark to fall to the ground. He had to figure out how to get it to stay, right? He probably used string or something, but carefully would be a good one, or slowly wrapped it. So he's being really careful about it. That would work too. So those are some good, like carefully placed my tail in the coals of a fire. He carefully placed. That would be a good one there. Um, Here we have panicked and jumped. What's an ly word to tell how he jumped? He somethingly jumped into the water. What's an ly word that could describe that, Julio?
I was thinking of it, but it might not make sense. Scared?
Scaredly? Mm,
No.
no. Keep thinking though. Fearfully? I guess fearfully would work. That would work. London, you have one?
Quickly.
Quickly, yeah, for sure. He was like, I got to get this fire off of me.
That was
Quickly.
mine.
That was yours? How about Ashlyn? Do you have a different one?
Highly, maybe?
Say it again.
Highly.
Highly jumped?
Mhm.
Yeah? Like he jumped up really high? Like maybe he did a cannonball? All right, you got the right idea. So look for those verbs and think of a way that it happened, like somethingly, and then the verb. So that's how you're going to find a spot for that. And then you've got lots of strong verbs already in here. The ones we were just talking about, like wrapped and planning and placed and rushed and wrapped and instructed. All those are great strong verbs. You're not going to have any problems finding one of those. Just underline one of them in each paragraph for your strong verb. And then I do want to remind you right here, because there's some speaking parts. Remember, because raccoon is talking. Don't say said. Don't say raccoon said. That's a banned word. You're going to have to think of something different, like instructed, raccoon told opossum, raccoon instructed, I already said that. Shouted. I guess he could be shouting from the top of the tree. This is how you do it. All right, watch out for that. Go ahead and put everything in your front pocket. You're going to work on paragraphs 2 and 3
Yelled.
this week. Yelled, that would work. Yep, that would be a good one.
I just got it from the banned words list that you can use instead.
Yes, use that blue page. That will help you. Good idea, Sawyer. That was good. So we're not having class next week. We're going to have the parent conferences. That's when I'm going to meet with you and your mom or dad or whoever does your teaching at home.
Yeah.
We're going to meet one-on-one in a Zoom and talk about how you're doing in class and the good things that you're doing, and then maybe some areas where you need a little extra help or something. We'll talk about that. So no class next week. Make sure your parents go to their emails and click the link and sign up for one of the days to meet with me.
My mom already did that.
Perfect. So I will see you guys at that. And then I won't see you till after Christmas. So, all right, you guys, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Bye.
Cock-a-doodle.
Bye.